Hello, you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I'm so sorry for the plane that's about to fly over, but thank you to everyone who has recently subscribed, everyone who continues to show me love. Before I get into this video, know that no. I'm not trying to trigger or hurt you in any way. I'm only speaking from the context of my experience. And what I want you guys to know is that what I'm saying is not necessarily law. Instead, it's how I've gone through the world. So, we are going to talk about being the forbidden fruit. Either being the forbidden fruit at college, being the forbidden fruit at work, or in your housing complex. Now, as a transgender woman, I transitioned about 11 years ago, back in 2013, realistically. And it's been a rocky journey. Oh my gosh. It has been a muddy, rocky, murky journey. But one of the most interesting or challenging aspects has always been with dealing with other people's either fascination, attraction, hatred, or jealousy of me. Now, I think these are common experiences that all of us as female identified people go through. We go through those moments where people basically wanna F us, but there may be something preventing them. And for whatever reason, they see being obsessed with you. Now, for me, being trans and living in South Africa, you have to understand that I was an anomaly. Like, everywhere I went, whatever job I went to, there were always people who either really supported me because they, I don't know, were virtue signaling social justice warriors. There were people who absolutely hated me, knew nothing about me, but the fact that I existed bothered them. And there were some people who honestly didn't give an F. But because at work I was always such a polarizing personality or presence, it was, I think, difficult or challenging for some people. Or rather, let me put it like this, for some guys to hit on me. Now, as a trans woman, I understand that there are a lot of men that fetishize trans women. And I worked in a company that had thousands of guys. And I'd have the most interesting experiences in that I'd always catch guys staring at me. I remember once when I moved into a different department, or if I'd go from one department to another, men would literally, as I was going to the door, run in front of me just to open it. Now, some of them knew, others didn't. And there was always this weird fascination because for me, once, especially back then, like you have to understand, all I wanted back then was a boyfriend, and I wanted someone that would like claim me and all of that. And I could see all of these different guys like going out of their way or acting very weird around me. Sometimes it represented itself as aggression. Like, I noticed there were some guys who, at the company I worked at, would go out of their way to say transphobic things, discriminatory things, and racist things, and make sure that I heard within earshot. But at the same time, those were always the same guys staring at me. And at the same time, there would be other guys, like my manager. And I feel so stupid for not noticing this, but my team leader, like my manager, he was this like German guy. And I remember I was going to have some surgery, and he was really interested in finding out about it and talking to me about trans issues. And he'd always make sure that when he did it, he would be like very loud, making sure everyone could hear. And for me, like, I was like, oh, he's being friendly. He would go out of his way to acknowledge anything good that I did. Like, if I was working extra hard or if I didn't take a break, um, he would message me and come up to me and be like, no, I need you to take care of yourself. Like, come on. So he was always that person. Now, for me at the time, like, I was very insecure. Um, I desperately wanted to be a woman, a real woman, a biological woman. The experiences that I had, regardless of how many guys were attracted to me, they still invalidated me, and I still felt like somehow I wasn't good enough because there would be like, and when I say there were a lot of guys who wanted to taste me, I'm talking about like 40, 45. Like, there were tons of guys. And it was so frustrating because there was a part of me that was like, well, if you like me, why don't you make a move? But the reality is, I think a lot of men have this idea that the girl that they are gonna be with is gonna be some kind of trophy. And being that I was trans and being that everyone knew about it, so many of them felt they couldn't openly express that they were interested in me. Girl, until the end of year function. So I've been to one end of year function and I was gonna go to my second. And I'll never forget, I was wearing this like mustard dress. I'll admit my ass was out. I was wearing heels. I was out there to have fun. But you know how end of year functions are. A lot of people get drunk, they get tipsy, and people tend to show their true colors. Now, our end of year function was at a place called Shimmy Beach Club. Tell me why The very same guys who are always avoiding me, talking about me, making fun of me, were the ones grabbing my butt. One of them, literally, I'll never forget. I'm sitting down, I'm on my phone. He walks up to me. I look up at him, and he grabs me by my neck and he starts making out with me. Like, literally, right there in front of everyone. And then he walks away. Girl, I think at that point, I definitely was validation starved. So being in that environment and having all these different men that I'd worked with that had acted like they weren't interested in me, suddenly come at me in such an open and aggressive manner. Girl, I lived it up. I was kissing all those boys. And part of it was because I thought they were cute. The other part was I wanted everyone at the company where I worked to understand that, yes, I may be transgender. Yes, I may be an anomaly. Yes, I may be different. But no, that does not take away from my beauty and my power. I knew deep down in my heart none of the guys that I was making out with would ever date me. I knew that when we went back to work, they were all gonna act like none of that happened. And I was okay with that because I think at that point, it was more about me. It was more about having experience where I knew and I could confirm, having a lived experience where it was no longer speculation or me wondering, does this guy like me? Does that guy like me? Why was he so nice? When he opened the door for me, was he being flirtatious? Am I imagining things? That night showed me that, no, babe, you were spot on with your assessment of what was going on at the company. And the gag is, the minute I left that company, girl, did I not get like 50 like DMs from different guys that I'd worked with? I mean, I'll be honest, I was like snappy and rude to them because I felt like we had worked together for 3 years and you just wanted me to be your secret. F off. Look, sometimes when you're a transgender woman, you are automatically part of the pretty girl club because you're exotic, you're different, you're an anomaly, you're something unusual, and you're a fantasy, a forbidden fantasy. It hurts when you're in a space where you can tell people kind of would want to date you if circumstances were different. But let me tell you something. They still want the forbidden fruit. And that night, at the end of your party, that's when I got my power back. That's when I realized that ultimately, the only thing that stops me being with these guys is my boundaries and my inability to lower my standard. I'm not just gonna be someone's, come bucket. Instead, I'm gonna be someone's trophy. Not forbidden fruit, but rather the favorite fruit, the best fruit. Anyways, my beautiful transgender women, stay sexy, stay beautiful. If the guys at work are annoying you, it's only because their minds are pointed in the direction of Trump, but their dicks are pointed in your direction. They're going through stuff. You're good, girl. You're so good. All right, stay being pretty. I'm gonna hit you guys with another video. I just want to talk about something else, non-trans related. So, I will see y'all in a couple of minutes. Bye.